Okay, we're recording. Hopefully, we're live on YouTube. Hello, hello. I'll just wait for it to click over to make sure that everything's working. I'm pretty sure we're live. Okay, great. I'm getting the hang of this now. This is my third one. All right, welcome. If you're here, it's likely that you want to rise onto your highest possible timeline, that you are interested in figuring out how to get your life into a different way that is more elevated, more expansive, more light, more free, more, just more, right? And possibly you're looking for the map. So that is why I'm here. Welcome to the Me Map podcast. I think this is episode 3. Yes, episode 3. I'm your host, Christy Lee Rackham. Thank you for coming. In the house, we have some of our heart warriors who are backstage with me in the Zoom room. Meaning that they get to interact with me through the chat, but also afterwards I do some intuitive guidance coaching, hot seat coaching, and we draw some cards and we have a bit of a chat and a discussion about the theme of the podcast today. So, interestingly, our MeMap petal that we're going to be starting with today is the energy, sorry, I always get that wrong, the body and environment, which is fitting because I've come on to the podcast today with a brewing headache. and I'm like, okay, thank you, universe, for showing me what it is that I need to be talking about today, because these sessions, these podcasts are channeled. I don't script anything. I don't prepare anything. The only difference with the podcast versus, and there goes my throat, versus my Heart Warriors live channeling is that the Me Map is the framework that we use. So for those of you new to me, I do recommend you go back and watch episode 1. Watch, listen to episode 1, because that tells you a little bit about the Me Map itself. The Me Map is a framework that I co-created with Spirit through my process of getting well and figuring out what was quote unquote wrong with me about 10 to 15 years ago. And it's been a lifelong journey, actually, of recovering from some of the shadow aspects of being human. And as I came into the podcast today, Spirit speaks to me in song a lot of the time. And so I'll get phrases, I'll get snippets of a song of some kind often. And then I have to kind of reverse engineer what's this about. So this song popped into my head this morning. I'm gonna, should I sing it? Okay, it's Harry Styles, As It Was. You can look it up. But the phrase that came in was, in this world, it's just us. You know, it's just the same as it was. Singing live on YouTube. What the? Anyhow, for those of you new to me, I will swear. In this world, it's just us, but they changed the word to love. It's just love. And then the next phrase is, you know, it's not the same as it was. And I'm like, oh, goosebumps. What are you trying to tell me here? Related to body and environment. What is it that you need me to pass on? What is it that you need me to know? Because I'm struggling with the headache today. And I felt into that a little bit and recognized the truth of those statements when we change the word in terms of body and environment and the houses that we live in on this earth at this time. It is not the same as it was. Our bodies are not the same as they were. And what we're going for, it's just us and it's just love. It really is. And the answer to every question, the answer to every problem is that it's you and the universe. It's you and your soul. It's you and love. and the answers to what you're seeking regarding body and environment, or any issue that you're faced with at the moment, is love. So that's probably going to come back around in this discussion today. But I was really grateful for that message, because as I said, I didn't know what I wanted to talk about today. And I do leave things up to spirit and tend to get into a bit of a channel mode. So I'm a bit out of sorts, which is making me slightly anxious. And I want to be real and raw in these podcasts, because I think that what's going on on the planet at the moment is a shit ton of falseness and misperceptions and fakeness and all of these not self things, which brings me to the me map, because the me map is a beautiful dynamic map to your personal highest timeline. It's subjective. It's called the me map for a reason. It's about you. It's about me, right? It's your map to greater health, greater well-being. It is your way forward to working out how to move toward love in your life. And specifically, we'll talk about body and environment. So it runs deep. It might look like a superficial, pretty picture of a flower on the page. Do go back and watch the first episode. But it's actually it's a representation of the building blocks of the universe. And we are elements. We are one of the blocks of the universe as humans, as are other creatures on our planet, every single individual, no matter what they are, a tree, a bird, an insect, a human, an animal. We are all the building blocks of the universe, and we are all made in the image of these sacred geometric patterns or formations that are the construct or the webbing or the matrix of divinity, the matrix of the universe, the God force, the force, whatever you want to call it. For those new to me as well, I am a sacred energy mastery mentor. I am a high-level intuitive coach. I've been channeling since I was 18 years old, spontaneously woke up after shutting myself down during some trauma when I was 18. And I've been communing with spirit since then on an active basis. They have been guiding and directing me towards my own personal health and guiding me through life to be able to come and teach their insights. So I've also got a lot of lived experience. I am a former nurse. I'm still a holistic counselor. I am a multi-international best-selling author and now publisher as well, which is super fun. Just launched our first multi-author book called The Wisdom Keepers: Hope, Healing, and Hidden Truths of Neurodivergence. I highly recommend that you jump on Amazon and pick yourself up a copy. It's a brilliant piece of work, 10 authors plus myself, explaining our lived experience journey through being highly sensitive, having extra things going on in our physical realities that on the earthly plane have made life very challenging. However, we write about also the benefits of having some of these differences, and how when we heal our body, mind, and energy field, you can tune those differences to a very high level to be able to benefit ourselves and, I believe, all of humanity as well. So definitely go and read that. I'm calling for authors for the second book. The next book is called Neurokin. So if you're watching and you are identifying as neurodivergent, which can be anything, by the way, from autistic, PTSD, intellectual disability, ADHD, there's a whole raft of them, right? So it's to do with the way your brain has changed and is different from what they class as neurotypical. So if you identify that way, I'm looking for lived experience people who are also holistic practitioners or have a holistic model, framework, or method that helps people get to greater elements of wellness, neurodivergent people specifically. Okay, enough of that. Right, so the me map, visually appealing, it's very beautiful, but it's dynamic, it moves with you. It's a soul activation blueprint. That is what it is. And when we activate our soul's blueprint on earth, rather than perceiving the world through our mental programmings and indoctrinations, we can access, plan, activate, deliver, track transformational results in your reality, your real physical reality that actually sticks. These changes are progressive. And when we're tuning our map to the sacred, to the divine nature of the universe, the changes that can take place are really immeasurable. They just keep unfolding into greater and greater levels of goodness. And by following the map, we can make those shifts sustainable. I see this far too often. So many people, and I have lots of private clients, right? But so many people have this scattergun approach to healing where they're desperate, right? And there's no judgment here. Been there, done that. um, where we get so desperate for improvement in our physical bodies or our physical reality that we get really desperate and we start stabbing in the dark at what to do. We chase down the nearest practitioner. That doesn't work for, the first session or two sessions. Nothing's changed. So we go, oh, okay, that's not working. Screw that person. I'm going to move to the next one. And we try yoga, and then we try meditation, and then we try doctors, and then we try therapists, and we try natural therapists. And it's the rapid fire shifting between all of those things in a mental desperation for change that leads you to getting literally nowhere. If you are wanting physical improvement in your body, in your environment, your lifestyle, there comes a point where you have to trust your own knowing. You have to trust your own intuition. You and me, God and you, the universe and you. In this world, it's just us. It's you and the universe. When we can learn to trust the voice inside of ourselves, that calm, simple, quiet, clear, leading voice that knows us, and begin to tune our decisions to that frequency, we move toward health with every choice that we make. And health is different for everyone. For neurodivergent people like me, for example, health is going to be a different picture to somebody who's not neurodivergent. An autistic person is going to have a different picture of health to an ADHD person. Often there's crossover. But health is subjective. This is why the map is so important. The me map gives you the tools to be able to tune in and measure. So it's feminine, tuning in, intuitive systems, understanding who you are from a soul level, and the masculine, which is linear, taking steps in the direction of your greatest well-being in a consistent, conscious, disciplined, another word, please. Let's use committed to your self-discovery, committed to your well-being, committed to being able to step onto your highest possible timeline and live there sustainably. Because the scattergun approach doesn't work long term. It just doesn't. You end up losing vast amounts of time and energy because every time you change from one thing to the next without actually grounding into it and giving it a chance, you are rapidly losing vital life force energy. You are wasting enormous amounts of time. So what I want to tell you about the body and environment straight up is you've got to slow down to speed up. You've got to slow down to speed up. I would recommend you write that down. I'm going to slow down to speed up. And the next thing I would suggest that you write down or put into on your mirror, one of my clients has scrawled it over her mirror in a chalk pen, that we have to tune ourselves to our greatest version. on the minute-by-minute basis. This is why within my programs, we talk about the ACT process, and I'll go through it quickly again. A for awareness and acknowledgement. Acknowledge where you're at, physically, mentally, emotionally, but in this case, physically, in your body, in your environment. Where am I at right now? Bring your awareness to the fore. Awareness is the first step. C, connect into your body and calm. Connect and calm. And I have a plethora of tools to help you do that if you're interested. But simple ways to embody is breathing techniques, breath work. It doesn't have to be formal breath work. Just taking 3 slow, deep breaths in that moment can help to switch off your fight, flight center, your amygdala, calm it down so that then you can tune into that voice that knows what you need. T, tools to transform. Transform the experience, transcend the experience that you're having in your physical reality that is causing you distress. This is how we move forward in each of the petals of the me map, is by getting super clear on what's happening now, on what I would prefer, and then tuning to the greatest potential by listening to guidance, listening to what's necessary, rather than going external to ourselves and being reactive and bouncing around and trying to put out spot fires all the time. Does that make sense to people, those of you watching? In the chat for my Heart Warriors, welcome Heart Warriors. Heart Warriors are my monthly membership. For just $49 a month Australian. So if you're watching in America, that's dirt cheap. I do a lot of coaching. So we have 2 90-minute sessions a month, and I have a folder called the Ascension Archives. I have, as I said, about 35 years worth of experience in teaching guidance, health, holism, spiritual development. Lots of books under my belt now as well. So I have I think it's 3 full Google Drives of resources that never see the light of day. So my Heart Warriors get access to the Ascension Archives folder, and every time we do a 90-minute session, I'll drop resources in there for them to progress their spiritual and self-development story after these sessions happen. So if you're interested in that, the link will be down below after the live finishes. All right. So body and environment, let's go to that. Let's qualify it, because I've jumped right into channel mode and there's so much coming in. I want to try and frame it a little bit. So much to talk about in this petal. Okay, in the chat, we've got Jackie. Yes, it makes sense and it's helpful. Awesome. Thank you. Stephanie, such awesome words. Christy, love the ACT process. Each time you share it, I learn more and it starts to seep into your being. Yeah, that's so true, right? The repetitive experience is so important. And from a body and environment perspective, do we want our repetitive experience of life and physicality to be in our favor or to be not in our favor? Do we want it to be life affirming? Do we want the things that we choose in our physical reality to actually enhance life? Because if you're not aware and you're not conscious of that choice, you're going to default to the other, which is the predominant human condition of life destroying, unfortunately. But it's not the same as it was. It's changing. It's shifting. Humanity is on the precipice of dramatic transformation into a higher possibility. Each individual gets to choose whether or not they take that higher possibility. It exists within every single one of us. And our body and our environment are the reflection of our belief systems around whether or not it's possible for us to have health and well-being, whether or not it's possible for us to have that beautiful, supportive, nourishing, nurturing home that we dream of, to have a job that aligns with who we are as souls, rather than in the grind, slowly eking away our life force energy, giving away our power to another being, another person, another environment, another thing that is life destroying. Now, not everybody has jobs that are life destroying, right? You might be really happy in your 9 to 5 job. I'm not saying you should leave your job, okay? But you want to make an assessment and decide, is my job, is this environment affirming who I am as a person, affirming my well-being? Is it moving me in the direction of the things that my intuition feels are appropriate for my highest good and moving me towards the kind of earthly experience that brings me joy, brings me health and harmony in my physical reality? That's what we need. That's what we need. And not everything on earth is perfect. We're imperfectly perfect. So not every experience is going to be all bubbles and joy, right? The earthly experience is about duality. We have to become comfortable and accepting of both the light and the dark, the night and the day, the bad and the good. And that is actually the key to ascending the duality and coming into alignment with a higher force, with the building blocks of the universe, with the sacred geometric patterns of your soul, because the blueprint is where health lives. So we can run around chasing health through practitioners, through practices, through different ways of eating, and we should, because we have to honor our physical bodies. Otherwise, our soul has nowhere to go, right? But when we follow our soul's lead on those things, rather than our head lead, we are naturally going to be able to gravitate to the appropriate changes that need to be made for our body and environment to be a thriving place for our soul to live. When we allow our soul to drive our bodies, to lead us, things start to unfold in divine order in ways that we couldn't possibly have imagined. I didn't think it was possible 15 years ago for me to have days where I wasn't anxious. I've lived with anxiety since I was a tiny little girl. I can't remember, going back, a day that I wasn't anxious, up until the last 5 or 6 years, where I have reached some kind of a tipping point. And now sometimes I get anxious, but it's only sometimes. Now it's maybe out of the blue that I get anxious. And it's the opposite of what I was experiencing 10, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it was out of the blue if I ever had a day where I was able to walk out my door without anxiety. The me map has been my guide, and I have moved my life forward from a state of chronic pain, 9 to 10 out of 10 pain in some prolonged periods of time, years, where I've been in extreme pain all the time. Now I have days where I'm actually pain-free, like a lot of days in a row. Sometimes I've been through months of prolonged non-pain, right? Now what happens is when I have pain or anxiety like I have this morning, it is an indication to me that there is something out of attunement between my soul, who knows what's going on, and my body and environment, those external structures that are an extension of my soul, or I'm blocking my soul's information from coming through. So the first thing that I do after I have this cue when my body says something's out of whack here, or something goes on in my environment, and I'm flawed or derailed for some reason, the first thing I do is I stop and I become aware of that. And I connect with my body and I calm myself down by breathing and doing some meditations and speaking to spirit. And then I transform the experience with my tools. Because what I know to be true is that a physical ailment is literally just you blocking, resisting, avoiding, denying the sovereignty that you already are, the healing that you already are. The divine blueprint that is perfect and is healed and is well and is vibrant, that always exists. It's actually just the extent to which we are allowing ourselves to be that is the issue. So moving forward, that's the end of that little stream. Okay, let's look at the map. That's what I was going to do. All right. For those of you listening, you can always go and view this on YouTube. I'll show you the map just so you can visualize a little bit. I'm going to have to get a new mouse. This one's terrible. One sec. Every time I go to scroll down, it scrolls up. Very frustrating. All right. This at the top here is the me map, actually. Whoops, wrong way. Sorry. Don't look while I scroll really quickly and confuse your eyes. This is the me map. So what we're looking at is at the center, we're looking at the body and environment petal today. We always start at 12 o'clock with the energy and emotion petal because energy and emotion underpin everything. The central petal is our internal locus of control. The external petal is our external locus of control. We have this line from 0 to 10. It gives us a scale. At 0, this is your I am presence. So in the body and environment petal, the I am presence affirmation or statement is I am well. It's very simple. I am well. What does I am well mean to you? So just take a minute and contemplate that one right now. In the body and environments that your soul is living in or your soul extends into, because the body and environment, we talked about this in the Heart Warriors, so I'm not going to go back into it again. The soul is the primary energy. The soul densifies into the body and the body projects into the environment. And vice versa. So when you start seeing things coming at you from the external, from the environment into your body, that's an indication that you want to tune back into your soul and go, what's this about? So at 0, I am well. My body is well. My space is supportive of my body. Everything's in alignment. I feel good in the spaces that I inhabit. We inhabit our bodies, we inhabit our environments. And when I say environments, we're talking about the community, like the physical place that you live. And we're talking about the physical home that you're in. And for most people on the planet, the job, the physical structure of the job that you go to. Okay. So the body and the environment at a 0 point state, 0 point is our divine matrix, our soul's blueprint, our true self, our sovereign, authentic being. I am well. At 10, that's your not self. That's I am not well. I am not supported. I'm physically unwell in my environment and or in my body. Usually, if your body's unwell, your environment's going to be a disaster as well in some way, shape, or form. So to give you an example, I've had a book launch. My body has been pushed further than it wanted to go. However, I was under this pump, as we often do in human life. We have deadlines of sorts. We have things that we have to do in order to have jobs and get paid and, feed ourselves. So I pushed my body a little bit harder than it wanted to go. And I knew it though, right? So the difference is, okay, I'm consciously aware that I am pushing my body a little bit too hard. Therefore, I'm going to put provisions in place to support my body as best I can with the deadlines that I had to meet. However, during that experience, yes, I'm on the tail end of a bit of a crash. I was in bed 2 days this week with severe pain. I have ankylosing spondylosis in my cervical spine. So that means my cervical spine is severely disintegrated and compresses the nerves. The really interesting thing is when I'm in my I am presence, my 0 point, my I am well state, my soul self, I don't experience any pain until I push things and avoid my knowing and project mental programs onto my environment that actually aren't real and a whole bunch of other things, which we'll talk about in the Mind and Manifestation Petal next month. So because I was consciously prolonging the period of exertion that I should have done for my body. My body was struggling. My environment couldn't be upheld because I was in pain. So I couldn't do the washing. I didn't do the dishes. I left the kids to their own devices. My kids are teenagers, right? So you can imagine leaving teenagers to their own devices for a week. The house wasn't what I would call under control. So when we are running from mental programming or perceptions that there's something we have to do that is misaligned with our soul's knowing, and I did know what my soul was telling me last week, but I literally didn't do it. I literally went, hear you, not doing it. Should have probably paid more attention. However, I'm human, so we all make mistakes and we all learn from those. But you can see how it rolls out. So if you're not paying attention, if you're not aware of what your soul's information is giving you, you're going to have a body that doesn't work efficiently, and you're going to have an environment that reflects that. Now, some people's environments get OCD. My sister, sorry, Julie, my sister has autism, and when she is particularly unwell, she has OCD. So her home is excessively clean, excessively organized to the point of rigidity. So it can go either way. The point that I'm making, though, is when you're in alignment with soul, your I am presence, everything takes care of itself. Now, I did have moments of that. So when I was able to tune back into my soul self and hear the messages and follow the messages that Spirit was telling me to take in the body and environment petal, magical things just took care of themselves. Like somebody gifted me a massage. Great. Thank you, universe. And thank you to the person who gifted me the massage, because I had also set the intention for there to be supports dropping in to allow me and to hold my space while I was busy doing something else, to hold my physical spaces to a level of function so that I could fulfill my goals. Not an ideal way to do things, but if you are under duress and you do have to go to a job, I was speaking to another client just this morning who couldn't come to the podcast because his job is very demanding. And he made the comment, I said, remember to breathe and to take a second to harness your soul self. And he said, no, we're not allowed to breathe here at this job. So I'm like, okay, there are jobs where there is enormous amounts of pressure. However, we always have presence. We always have the ability to tune into our soul self, always, no matter what is going on outside of ourselves, even if it's only for a second. Even if it's only for just that split second where you go, oh my gosh, I've got a headache. And then you have to keep moving forward. Even just the acknowledgement and the awareness of that in that instant is moving you toward your soul self, very slowly, but it is moving you there. So if the only thing you can do is to start becoming aware of what your body is trying to tell you, because our bodies, as I said, are a reflection of what we're denying in our soul self. Does that make sense? So much coming in today. I feel like I'm spiraling around all over the place. But usually Spirit brings it all back together for me in the end. All right, so there's the map. Now, where are we? Okay, so let's look at this a little bit in more detail. So the physical expression, the body is the physical. These are supposed to be round the other way. I am fixing up my workbook thanks to one of my lovely clients who's helping me has come up with a better way for me to represent this, which is good. Thanks, Steph. Love you. Okay. Body, physical expression of your energy blueprint in the form of your body. This is what you were born into. Your soul spark is awakened. The heart is the first thing to be created in organs in the human fetus, not the brain. Okay, the heart creates first. Those heart cells are imbued with your soul's knowing. Surgeons know this. Some of you have heard me tell this story before. Surgeons, this is from my nursing days, right? I was researching a lot of things. I was a holistic nurse, so the ideas that I had didn't fit the system that I was in at the time, right? Classic medical system. So I researched a lot, and I did a lot of cardiovascular research from a holistic perspective, and found documented peer-reviewed journals about a thing called the phantom node. And you can Google it if you're scientifically minded. See, or not Google, actually, Google doesn't give you the good stuff. Go to something like DuckDuckGo in terms of search engines. But the heart is created by a blast of energy. On a biological level, it's a blast of zinc at inception, or conception rather. There's a biological flash that happens that initiates the division of cells. That blast on an energetic level is the soul incarnating into a biological format. From there, our cells replicate. Rapid, rapid, rapid. And the heart is the first organ that is properly formed. The heart has the blueprint of the soul embedded in its cells. So when we are trying to heal, Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. When we are healing, we're not trying to fix our bodies. We're not trying to fix something that's broken, because you are inherently perfect and in the divine image of your soul, who is a divine replication in terms of sacred energy and geometrics of God force energy of the universe. When we are healing, we are shedding the layers of not self that we have accumulated over the period of our lifetime, our human lifetime. We're actually returning to our perfection. We're not trying to fix something that's broken. You are not broken. Your body might seem like it is. Your environment or your housing situation or your job might seem like it's broken. Because, as I said earlier, we live in a dualistic society where there are, opposites. So your body shape, your heredity, your body shape, your experience of pain, your experience of illness or not illness, of function, is hereditary. Now, hereditary is broken into biological heredity, DNA, but it's also epigenetic. So epi means above or outside of. Epigenetics is the study of the energetic imprint that informs the biological changes that take place in your body. So what we're trying to do is clear away, to shed the stress skins that we've been living in, to offload the toxic accumulations that we have inadvertently bought, borrowed, stolen, had pushed upon us, learned, indoctrinated through the course of our reality from the moment we are born. And we are born into our parents' patterns. Energetically speaking, our heart gets imprinted, it's the first organ, our heart gets imprinted with the energetic structures and the biological structures of our parents. So think about that for a second. Is the illness or is the wellness that you are experiencing in your body or environment actually yours? How much of what you're physically experiencing is actually yours? So I want you to think about that. We carry a toxic load from early in life, and I don't want you to get down about this, okay? It sounds all doom and gloom. It's really not, because the me map is your pathway out of this situation. And obviously I'm speaking to the predominant consciousness of the human experience right now. I can't speak to all of you lovely people who are watching and listening to me who are thriving, and good on you. I'm very excited. The Me Map is still for you, by the way. The Me Map can guide you to optimizing, right? Because the Me Map shifts as you shift. So if you're in a fantastic state, and I've been in prolonged periods of bliss state. So when you're in that state, you are still moving towards greater and greater levels of expansion into possibilities that you don't even know exist yet. And this is what I was saying before. I didn't realize back then, 15, 20 years ago, I didn't even realize how it was possible to be so well. I'd never experienced wellness. Not really. And I never really experienced it. It was like a droplet, a brief glimpse. But it was those glimpses that I held on to and went, okay, if that's possible as a glimpse, then how do I move toward more of that? And that's what the Me Map does. It shows you which way to go. It helps you target and laser focus your energy, your time, your efforts into the area of the map that your soul is telling you are most necessary next for you to move towards greater experiences of health, well-being, expansion. So even if you're in an optimized state right now, it can get better. It can get even better. It can get even brighter. It can get even more well. You can have even more energy than you ever dreamed was possible. I just sounded like I was from New Zealand then, ever. Must be you, Jackie. I'm channeling Jackie right now. But to those of you who are in a state of disease, consider how much of this is actually mine. Have I bought, borrowed, stolen, absorbed, inherited patterns of belief and behavior that are not supportive of my body or this environment that I find myself in? So this is the first question that you want to ask yourself in the body and environment petal. What does my body look like? These are little journal prompts that I encourage you to go away and contemplate and write about if you're a journaler. If you're not a journaler, then speak it, sing it, dance it, contemplate, sit in the garden, hug a tree, whatever it is for you. What does my body look like? How does it feel? Is it healthy? What am I fueling my body with? What's my toxic load like? What is it in my environment and within my belief systems and within my body that is toxic and not life-affirming, life-destroying? How do you feel in your skin, and does your body match your soul? Does your body match your soul, or does it match the inheritances? The inheritances, is that a word? And then the spaces that you inhabit, your physical environment, your house, your garden, your street, your suburb, places you commonly visit. What do they look like? Are they spacious or cluttered? Are they open and natural? What fabrics, objects, furniture are you surrounded with? When you move around those objects, do you feel good about it? The subconscious mind perceives everything. And the subconscious mind programs our body if we don't program it consciously with our soul's knowing. So if you're moving around an object, and this is why feng shui is so important. I studied feng shui back in my 20s. So a lot of it's not very conscious information at the moment. It's all stuck back in my limbic system. Objects hold resonance. Objects hold information about the former you. So if you've got secondhand furniture in your environment, nothing wrong with that. I lived decades with secondhand furniture because I was a solo single parent raising babies who were neurodivergent, and I was autistic and didn't know at the time. So I was really unwell a lot of the time, and I had no money. So all of my furniture was secondhand, but every single one of those pieces belonged to somebody else first. And the imprints of those people, their expressions were in the furniture. The energy was in the furniture. And some furniture felt good to me when I walked around it, and other furniture not so much. But I didn't really have a very big choice physically to get rid of the secondhand furniture and buy brand new stuff. So what do? we take a choice that moves us towards our 0 point self, our I am presence. We tune into our spirit, our soul, and we say, okay, here's this challenge that I've got. My body is in pain. My furniture is old and worn and makes me feel sad. We hand it to spirit and we say, give me, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything I've got. Can you help me resolve this? Because I feel sad. And what I would like is to feel elevated. I would like to feel in alignment with my soul's blueprint, which is of the universe, which is divine in nature. I would like my physical environments to reflect the divinity and the beauty and the presence of the universe incarnate in my reality here and now. I want to represent God force in my body, in my environment. And you listen. And then when you get the information, you act on it. You don't just sit there like I did last week and go, oh, thank you. I'm not going to do that right now. Don't do that because it just hurts later. So what you can do is learn some energy clearing practices. Heart Warriors have got some, or they will have after this session today. I'll put some energy clearing processes into the Ascension archives for my Heart Warriors, because energy clearing can be done with anything. Nothing is really solid in our universe. When you work with energy, you realize that a piece of furniture might appear solid, but actually it's made up of a whole bunch of chemical processes, and in between all the molecules of that particular chemical process called a chair is space, and inside that space is the universe, the fabric of life, divinity. So energy clearing on physical objects actually works, and I recommend you do it. And then I also recommend, if there's something that's really energetically heavy for you and it holds a lot of old memories, there are 2 things you can do. 3 things you can do. You can clear the energy of the object itself. You can clear the trauma that you have mentally associated with that particular object in your mindset and in your energy field. And 3, you can replace the object with something that you truly love, with something that represents the heart of who you are. So I want to come back to toxic load. And in the chat, you guys, if you'd like to comment, have a think about what is it in your life at the moment that could be considered toxic load. Now, let me just explain toxic load. Anything that is adding stress to your physical body or your physical environment. Toxic load can be thoughts, beliefs, can be that you live in your environment too close to a Wi-Fi tower and you're being bombarded with 5G all the time. It can be that you, like me at the moment, we've had floods again, and the government put extra chemicals in the water when there are floods. So it could be that there is extra chemicals and flood water going on, and that's being piped into your home, and so you need to treat your water. So have a think about it right now. What in your body, what are you putting into your body, either on purpose or because of your circumstances? What's going into your body right now that isn't working for you, that is adding to your toxic load on a physical, real world level, that is in contrast to what your soul knows is better? Now, we don't always have the luxury of suddenly uprooting ourselves and moving home, but there are things that we can do to support our physical realities, to support our bodies, to optimize our environments and our bodies so that our soul can be more easily accessed. Okay, going to the chat. Steph was talking about the intergenerational trauma. And the epigenetics and the genetics, is that what you're referring to? Is easier to understand? Yes, thanks, Steph. Yeah, it is profound. Intergenerational trauma, I could talk on that particular topic for at least a week. from an energetic perspective. There are some amazing studies of inherited trauma, particularly one that I'm thinking of. I can't remember exactly the name of the study. I have my autistic self has terrible memory for names, which is very frustrating at times because I read things and I can't remember what it was that I read. However, there was a study about, I think it was World War I or II. They studied some Polish grandchildren of people who went through the Holocaust. The grandparents went through the Holocaust. And what they found was there were replicated symptoms, physical replicated symptoms of PTSD in the grandchildren who had experienced no physical or environmental traumas themselves at all in their reality, in their lifetime. And that was one of the seeded studies for the study of epigenetics, because they started to notice that these symptoms actually jumped a generation and affected the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren of Holocaust victims. So there's intergenerational epigenetic transfer of PTSD that is well documented. So have a look at your lineage. It's really important that you, once you have done your healing work on your own physical reality, your own body, your own environment, then when you're at a certain level of function, you might want to look at your ancestry and start doing some clearing, some resolution, some integration of your ancestral roots, or at least understand where have you come from on a biological level and what kinds of imprints did your lineage experience. I did some exploration. My father's mother's side, so my paternal grandmother, when I followed her lineage all the way back, we found that there were like 6 or 7 generations of single mothers who had lost, through various malfunctions, they had lost husbands. Husbands had been killed, husbands had left, husbands had stolen something and ended up in jail. It was quite a disaster looking at my female lineage of single mothers and the poverty that they had lived in as a result, and the desperate survival needs of those mothers had caused an epigenetic pattern that I had inherited of working myself to the bone to survive, to keep my kids alive when they were young. I replicated that ancestral pattern all the way through. But when I realized it wasn't my pattern, I had inherited it, that gave me the power to be able to break it, to be able to invite my ancestors to the table and say, you know what, thank you for doing all that you had to do to survive so that I could be here today. But now we're in a different time. It's not the same as it was. And now I can thrive. I don't need to run those survival patterns anymore. I don't need to run those poverty patterns anymore. I'm getting goosebumps while I'm talking. I probably got my grandmother here. So look back at your ancestry and have a proper exploration of what is actually yours that you're carrying forward into your physical reality. Okay, so toxic load, Jax, mold appearing from all the rain, mold at work, mold at home. Yeah, and not the time to clean it yet. Okay, mold is awful, isn't it? Respiratory system, autoimmune problems that come from mold exposure. So, okay, so now that you know that, the next question is, Spirit, help me to resolve the mold. Open space and time and resources. Open space and time and resources for me to be able to do this with the greatest ease and grace possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. I did the same thing. I looked up at the eaves a couple of days ago and went, oh, okay, mold. I'm going to pop that into the long-term, not long-term, pop that into my side quest, as my kids call it, side quest, pop it over here, tell spirit I need to sort that out, but I've also got a blocked drain in my kitchen. So here are all my problems. I'm going to give them to you now. Could you please organize in perfect divine order what you need me to address first, and I will do what you tell me to do next. That's the way I handle all of my problems these days, all of them. Steph, I wonder if my aura is sticky and picks up energies and things when I'm in an environment. Some of it affects me and I'm aware, and some I'm not. When I don't use a large selenite rod to cleanse my whole body, I really know about it. I love that you're using selenite. I just bought a rod the other day too. So funny. Okay, so your aura, okay, I love the terminology. Yes, in a manner of speaking, it's a really, oh, that's beautiful. YouTubers, you can't see her rod, but it's incredible. It's about 0.5 meter. I know that sounded suspicious. Gorgeous. All right, so sticky. Yes. So if you think about your aura in terms of what you have collected in terms of congestion throughout your entire life so far. So we collect and store. I don't like to use this word because once you get past trauma, it's not trauma. We collect and store. I can see them as clouds of energy. They're diversions from spirit, shall we say, diversions from your essence. And when you're particularly empathic, we tend to have extra mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are the little neuron cells in our brain that reflect our reality back to us. And they cause autistic and ADHD people to be particularly good at sensing other people's problems within our own system. And then what we do in our mind is create a match for that thing that we've interpreted as coming at us. So if you walk into a room and you sense a sticky energy, or you sense an energy that's low frequency, that doesn't feel good to your body, you walk into a job and you feel something and it doesn't feel aligned, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel like you, it doesn't feel nice. Your brain, based on its experiences that it has stored and made meaning of, your brain will ascribe a meaning to that experience in your body. And it will say, this sensation equals danger. Your body's only just absorbing the information. Your body's not deciding whether it's good or bad. Your body's just going, something feels different. The proprioceptors and the interoceptors in your system, they're just going, oh, that's different. But the difference is noted by your brain. The message goes up to the brain and the brain goes, alert, alert, danger, danger, Will Smith, problem. Because we felt something that felt sort of like this about 10 to 15 years ago. And at that time, that was because Joe Bloggs slapped you in the face when you broke up with him or something. I don't know, right? Bad example. And your brain registers that and it goes back into the past, or it goes back into your ancestral experiences of your energetic patterns that you've brought forward, that you've had brought forward, and it matches the pattern. It goes sensation equals danger. The head does that, not the body. And so it's actually not the sensation that is the problem. It's the meaning ascribed to the sensation. This is why when we go on to mind and manifestation next week, it's a good segue, next month rather, it's a good segue into that, because we need to be aware of what our head is doing, because our body is a pure representation of soul. It's the meaning that our mind gives what happens to us that causes the problem. Our body is just interpreting sensation. And it can be a sensation that feels life-affirming, or it can be a sensation that doesn't feel life-affirming. That's really all we need to know about, ideally, is, okay, I walk into a space, this doesn't feel like a life-affirming space. So I'm going to acknowledge that within myself. I'm going to become aware of that within myself. I'm going to check in with my body. I'm going to connect to my body, note the sensation, I'm going to ask my soul to transform the experience with whatever tools I have handy at the time. And it might be aromatherapy, it might be an energetic process, it might be to leave the space, it might be to jump up and down on the spot. It might be to take a Panadol, which I did earlier because of the headache. I didn't have the time and space and ability to not do my podcast. I wanted to do my podcast. This is my soul-driven purpose on earth, is to do these things. So I acknowledged my body and I said, okay, body, I feel you. There's a sensation that we need to address. I will address it. I hear you. I feel you. I'm going to address it. Right now, I'm going to take a Panadol. Not ideal, but that's what I'm going to do. And after we finish the podcast, we're going to lie down. Okay? So I have this conversation with my body. Our body being a reflection of both our soul and the toxic load on our externals. So our internal soul self flows through us, and the external stuff coming at us is a reflection of anything in the way of our soul being able to express effectively. So does that make sense, Stephanie? When you're in an environment, it affects you and you're aware of it, and some of you not. Yeah. Crystals are amazing for cleansing, but it's the intention that you set with the crystal that is really the most important thing, because it's your intention and your connection to your soul self and divinity that is flowing through that crystal, and you are vibing with the crystal, right? So you're choosing a different resonance match versus choosing the resonance match unconsciously of the dysfunction within the environment that you're in. So bringing awareness is the first step, and then transforming the experience. So you're not necessarily picking up energies, you're matching the energy. There's a part of you that is yet to be cleared. There's a part of you that you've collected through time and space that has yet to be resolved, that has yet to be elevated and transmuted so that you can return to your soul self. It's a lot to contemplate. This is not small. These concepts are not small. I honestly, some of the things, I really want to be doing podcasts on the weekly, because there is so much. There is so much that I could talk about, and it's fascinating and very deep. All right, so Jack, realized through lineage that my cousins also have sensitivity to foods causing dis-ease, and also the same addictions have appeared through the kids and the grandkids. Absolutely. Yeah. And at the moment, the energetics at the moment, we've got a couple of retrograde action planets, which are going direct next week and the week after, thank goodness. But at the moment, I know, right? At the moment, the energies are asking us specifically to reflect on addictions to do with things that we put into our bodies. So it's no accident that the me map has aligned with the energies of the petal of the body and environment today, because as humans, we're being asked to address the addictions, because the addiction is a mental habit. It's not good for our body. We know this. It's not good for our lifestyle, our environment. So that's why it's important to consider the body and environment petal. Physical reality is necessary. We live in a physical reality. It's important that we pay attention to it, because, you know, our souls won't last long on this planet if we can't look after ourselves. So toxic load, things like, I'll come back to you, Steph, things like, these are the things that can influence your body and environment. Wi-Fi, big one. Mobile devices, everything is surrounded by electronics if you live in the city, even in the country these days with the satellites, okay? Not to be afraid, but to be aware, so that you can talk to your soul and go, what can I do about this? Soul has answers. And interestingly, Wi-Fi, when you elevate your frequency higher and higher and higher, the impact of those destructive frequencies that get emitted from towers lessens. Big news, people. For those of you who understand the deeper reasons that things are the way they are in the planet these days, it's no accident that they're blasting us with frequencies. Sonic frequencies in particular are known to be able to heal or damage, depending on the frequency. They either increase cellular function, sound waves, increase cellular function, or they don't, or they destroy cellular function. So as you follow your me map, as you adjust your reality in your body and environment and move toward wellness by following your soul's imprint, by following your soul's intuition, the less these physical toxic loads affect your body, because you are adjusting as you go, rather than waiting until your body just screams at you, things are wrong, things are bad, you're sick, you need to stop, right? Often these days, people are getting really harsh wake-up calls. Things are not the same as they were. We have to operate differently in this new earth, different frequency environment that we're stepping into. We have to ascend with the planet. We have to ascend with the frequencies that are coming in from the solar blasts that are coming off the sun. So toxic, Wi-Fi, pollution, chemicals, we talked about that in the water, from the sky, you know, whatever, in the food. Sound, I talked about that briefly just then. Solar activity, it's not toxic if you're paying attention to what's coming in. The solar rays that are coming through at the moment are high photonic waves of energy that can help us heal rapidly. But if you get sick because there's big blasts of energy coming in, you're supposed to rest and assimilate that. You're supposed to allow your body to detox what is lifted up and out, what is shaken loose out of your cells from these big incoming blasts of light. If you ignore it, your body's just going to not be able to keep up, and it's going to crash. It's going to manifest dis-ease. I wish I could talk longer. Dis-ease, oh my God, so complicated. Tumors, strokes, you know, cardiac problems. These are electromagnetics being disrupted within our physical selves through various means. And we have to be able to tune into the disease and see it as beneficial, because it's a wake-up opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to recognize a stress response, recognize a toxic load that we've been carrying or that we have ingested or taken on, that is at odds with life itself. And when we know that, you know, in the words of Spider-Man, and I don't watch these movies, but my kids do, with great power comes great responsibility. When you are empowered, when you know, when you're aware, you can alter your existence, your physical existence, to be one of well-being. You can tune into your soul self. Your body may or may not go with you, depending on how much time you've got. But there is no loss in making changes as soon as you can. No, there's no loss there. Make changes as soon as you can, because every experience is as it should be for your growth, for your evolution, for your soul's wisdom. Every experience, whether it be perceived as good or bad, every experience, dis-ease, disease, illness, functional problems, job changes, houses being removed, it's all in the vein of lifting you to greater awareness and ascending you back to your soul's blueprint, back to your soul's knowing. Okay. Oh gosh, look at the time. All right, I must wrap up. Regarding your sticky aura, it's like blue tack picking up dust. At the moment, everyone's the same. Everyone's the same. It's just who's conscious. Yeah. So if you're conscious of it daily or multiple times a day, energy hygiene is essential. Cleansing your body, actually physically, getting under the shower. Water is a conductor. Set your intention as you get into the shower for the water to hold your intention and conduct your intention through the physical cleansing of your body. Ask for the water to become a pattern of light that enhances well-being and health. And then as that shower cleanses your skin of anything that you may have picked up, biologically speaking, you can also allow that to cleanse through the spaces of your cellular structure into the web of life itself, to cleanse the energetics, to cleanse the clouds or the dust, the energetic dust and debris, the fragments and scattered particles of other people's existence that you may have resonated with, because you didn't pick it up, it didn't attach to you, you resonated with it. There's something in your mentality and your composition that resonated with that dust. Okay. So interesting, isn't it? Okay, so diet's one easy way that you can adjust yourself. Yeah. Change diet. Stephanie has changed her diet, learning how addicted to carbs and certain eating behaviors for causing overweightness. Yeah, or a lot of it is fluid inflammation. I've had that battle. I have lipedema, so my cells, when there's a blast from solar activity or the Schumann cavity resonance bursts and gives us a power surge, I feel it in my legs because I have lipedema in my legs. So there's a lot more density in my legs. There's a lot more water stored in my legs because of the fibrosis of the lipedema. And so I feel it there. So when you get these blasts from the Schumann cavity, that's the resonant pulse of the earth, or from the sun in plasma bursts and photonic waves, it will hit you where you're the most dense in your physical reality. So that's great, because what that does is show you, oh, right, okay, my legs, that density is still causing me some discomfort. What am I going to do today? Well, I'm probably going to stick my legs up on the wall for more than 5 minutes. I might just stick my legs up on the wall and elevate for 2 hours today instead of 5 minutes. So the awareness gives you an opportunity to tune to life-affirming decisions. Toxic load buildup makes me think of wearing clothing. Each little thing on their own doesn't impede function, but if you're wearing your entire wardrobe, you can't move your body properly and can't do the things you want or need to do. I love that analogy. That's fantastic. Stephanie, I'd write that down if I were you. For those of you watching, I have a MEMAP coach certification program. What I am talking about here with the MEMAP, going through each of the petals, is literally the tip of the MEMAP iceberg. The MEMAP coach certification allows you to become a MEMAP coach and to guide other people through the MEMAP. These podcasts are an extension of some of the training that we do within that certification. And you don't have to have had coaching experience before. You can have had a lot of amazing life experience, and you can have a lot of natural innate wisdom that is great to share. And the MEMAP gives you the framework to be able to cultivate your own signature program and to guide people through their own intuitive, reflective journey through their MEMAP to greater wellness. So if that's of interest to you and you want to be a MEMAP coach, or you at least want to look at what that means, then by all means, please reach out. There is a link in the description down below. Stephanie is one of my MEMAP coaches. She was qualified back in January. It's very exciting. Stephanie is also a nurse and has great experience in the esoteric side of things as well. So if that's of interest to you, reach out. I love talking to people about the MEMAP. I could go on and on and on, but we are reaching the end of our time, so I'm going to wrap it up. So going back, what I'd love you to do is consider, and I'll just say this, Heart Warriors, go back to the last transmission, the channeled transmission of body and environment that I did 2 weeks ago is a supplement to this. Make sure you listen to both, because I have talked about a lot more in the Heart Warrior 90-minute channeling than I was able to do here today, because this focus is on the MEMAP itself. So coaching questions. Consider your body, consider your environment. Ask yourself, how can I move toward my 0 point? How can I move toward my soul self in this petal? What is it that is not feeling healthy? What is it that is feeling toxic within my body and within my environment? Be discerning. Don't project. This is about you. Try not to project onto, oh, that person did that the other day, therefore they're toxic and that's their problem and I need to get rid of them. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about empowering yourself with detached awareness to notice what feels off, and then to tune into your soul self and ask for guidance on how is best going to bring your reality, your physical reality to a higher order. We are not in the business of blaming. We are in the business of empowerment. The Me Map is an empowering map to your divine ascension into greater health and well-being. It is not an opportunity to project all of your mental, inherited, disordered, societally programmed, indoctrinated belief systems onto the rest of the world. We are looking at conscious, gentle discernment of what's not feeling appropriate for us as sovereign beings. And then you can start to make some adjustments. And some of those adjustments might be tiny, but I guarantee every tiny shift that you make towards well-being, towards 0 point, towards your I am presence is cumulative. For those of you who are into finances, you understand compounding interest. When we make a 1% adjustment to our body or environment in the direction of life affirming, that compounds, and the progress that we make gets faster and faster and faster. The health that we make, that we experience, gets better and better very quickly. And it's not the same as it was 10, 15 years ago when I started, 35 years ago, actually, when I consciously started on this journey. It was slow going to heal stuff. Those of you awakening now, you are at an amazing point in history because things are moving so damn quick. People are having spontaneous recoveries from really serious stuff when they're aligning themselves to their soul, because the entire universe is geared to work in our favor right now. It is geared, it is wanting us. God, the universe, it is wanting us to ascend, wanting us to move into our highest possible potential, into a dimensional space where there is nothing but bliss and well-being. And I have personally experienced that. It is real. It does exist, but you need to keep working at it. There are ways to change very, very quickly right now. The energy is supporting rapid fire breakdown of addictions, rapid fire breakdown of environments that are not supportive of your overall well-being and your ascension into a higher dimensional way of living. If things are getting taken from you, I'm sorry, it's hard. But know that ultimately you are being guided to something better. You are being guided to better support, better love, better money, better health, better well-being than you can possibly imagine right now. And sometimes it's hard to believe that that's real. But I guess this is why we listen to podcasts, isn't it? We learn from other people's experiences. We learn from information. We learn from knowledge. However, listening to other people's experiences is only the start. It's a way for you to start to move back into your own knowing, your own knowledge, your innate sense of what's real, and trust yourself. So the more that you can listen and apply to things that come your way, that have been God-given, divinely guided to you, and you recognize those within your physical system as life-affirming, and you move toward those and you take the shift, the easier it gets and the more life starts unfolding in better and better ways for you. So I'm sending everybody my best love, my highest possible frequencies of goodness to you all for your body, mind, spirit, but particularly flooding your physical bodies and your physical environments with a beautiful cleansing violet fire that transmutes the low frequency energies into higher energies of love, light, healing, abundance, compassion, knowledge, wisdom, ease, grace, healing, well-being. All right. That is all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. If you haven't done already, subscribe to the channel. You'll get notifications. I'm new. I'm a fledgling podcaster on YouTube, so please do subscribe. I have no idea what I'm doing with the algorithm, so I think the more people that subscribe, the better things are for all of us. You get to see more of this if you like what I've got to offer. If you are wanting to become a heart warrior, the link is below. All the information is in a PDF, and then the link to sign up is in the PDF as well. Or if you're interested in becoming a MeMap coach, then by all means reach out personally and we'll have a chat about that. All right. Thank you to my Heart Warriors for joining me live in the Zoom room. Stick around, Heart Warriors, if you have Pacific, can't speak properly anymore, questions. We're going to have a little discussion if everyone's got time. And I'll see all my YouTubers next month for mind and manifestation. Big topic, probably talk for 2 hours or so.